Hello everyone, welcome to History and Culture. On August 25, 1735, Emperor Yongzheng, aged 58, suddenly passed away at the Summer Palace. The news shocked both the court and the general public. There were various speculations about the cause of his death, filling the streets with rumors. Some believed that Emperor Yongzheng had been assassinated, while others suggested that he died suddenly due to exhaustion from years of handling state affairs. There were also rumors that his emotional and passionate character might have led to his downfall at the hands of a woman. Additionally, some scholars proposed that Emperor Yongzheng's fondness for alchemy and prolonged consumption of elixirs could have contributed to his early demise. In response to these speculations, after Emperor Qianlong ascended the throne, he immediately took measures to seal off all information regarding the cause of Yongzheng's death, prohibiting any discussion on the matter and even expelling all alchemists from the palace. Furthermore, Emperor Qianlong publicly declared that Yongzheng had never used any elixirs, and that his interest in alchemy was merely a form of entertainment. As a result, the cause of Emperor Yongzheng's death became a long-standing mystery. For centuries, historians and the general public struggled to uncover the truth. It wasn't until a leaked court document revealed some key details that the truth began to emerge. According to historical records, Emperor Yongzheng, born Eisen Zhoroinzhen, was the fifth emperor of the Qing dynasty. Although his reign lasted only 13 years, he implemented many reforms and policies that made significant contributions to the country. However, his sudden death left a huge enigma in history. Even in the official historical records of the Qing dynasty, the cause of his death was not clearly explained, leaving it as an unresolved mystery. After his death, Emperor Yongzheng was buried at the mausoleum he had chosen, the Tai Mausoleum in the western Qing tombs, located in Yixian County, Hebei Province. The true cause of his death has been the subject of many theories, with the most widely spread rumor being that Yongzheng was assassinated. This theory is commonly portrayed in modern films and television, particularly the story of Lvc Nyang assassinating Yongzheng, which has become a popular narrative. According to legend, Lvc Nyang's hatred toward Emperor Yongzheng stemmed from the literary inquisition. Her grandfather, Lv Luliang, suffered during the literary inquisition, and Lvc Nyang, who survived, swore to avenge him. Knowing that assassinating the emperor would be difficult, she went to the mountains to learn martial arts, practicing diligently for many years until she became highly skilled. After completing her training, Lvc Nyang began to plan her revenge. However, she understood that the emperor was well guarded, and it would be nearly impossible to succeed relying solely on her martial arts skills. Therefore, she decided to disguise herself as a palace maid and enter the palace to get close to the emperor, waiting for the right moment to strike. Legend has it that Lvc Nyang did indeed successfully infiltrate the emperor's circle. Her identity as a maid raised no suspicion, and using this disguise, she carried out the assassination. However, this story has not been accepted by historians. Experts argue that after an emperor passes away, court officials must come to pay their respects, making it impossible for Yongzheng to have lost his head. Another rumor involves the author of Dream of the Red Chamber, Chao Shuoqin. One theory suggests that Chao Shuoqin's lover was brought into the palace by Emperor Yongzheng, which led Chao Shuoqin to collaborate with others in a plot to murder the emperor. However, this theory is also unsubstantiated. According to historical records, Chao Shuoqin was still a minor at the time, while Yongzheng was already over 50, making it highly unlikely for any personal vendetta to arise between them. Another theory suggests that Emperor Yongzheng's death may have been due to overwork. Known for his diligence, he spent long hours reviewing memorials and had insufficient sleep, which could have led to physical exhaustion. However, scholars argue that this explanation lacks solid evidence. Although Yongzheng was devoted to state affairs, His hobby was painting, not indulging in the pleasures of the imperial harem. His painting Clouds and Travels is still preserved in the Beijing Museum. Based on the available historical materials and analysis, experts generally believe that Emperor Yongzheng's death, which occurred so suddenly, could have been caused by one of two possibilities, either assassination or illness. The governance style of Emperor Yongzheng after his ascension can be summarized as diligent and dedicated to governance, with strict control over the country. In 1722, after the death of Emperor Cixi, Yongzheng ascended the throne. To consolidate his position, he appointed many trusted officials to manage state affairs and actively eliminated rival factions to secure his rule. Furthermore, after assuming power, Yongzheng fully immersed himself in state administration, adopting a national role model work ethic. He concentrated power through various means and personally reviewed memorials submitted from across the country. These memorials included many reports on routine matters, as well as numerous suggestions related to significant national decisions. To handle state affairs more efficiently, Yongzheng often worked late into the night, waking up at 6 a.m. and working until late, leaving him with almost no time to rest, and his nightly sleep was often less than 4 hours. According to existing historical records, there were more than 30,000 memorials in Chinese and over 6,000 in Manchu, totaling over 40,000. Assuming he reviewed 4,000 to 5,000 memorials annually, he had to review more than 10 memorials a day, often finishing them late at night. Some memorials were even over 1,000 words long, and Yongzheng would personally annotate them. It can be said that his work occupied nearly all his time, with little to no leisure. Experts have even suggested that from the moment Yongzheng ascended the throne, each day was filled with busyness and pressure. And he never experienced a day of ease or joy. His life was consumed with reviewing memorials, leaving him with almost no personal time. In his first year on the throne, Yongzheng implemented sweeping reforms. His basic approach to governance was to promote benefits and eliminate harmful practices, which meant improving the political and economic conditions of the country through reform and eliminating corruption and negative influences. He firmly believed that as long as the emperor and officials performed well, the governance of the country would succeed. Yongzheng also believed that governance should not only focus on the immediate needs but also be practical and action-oriented. His governing philosophy reflected a decision-making style characterized by swift and decisive action. Once Yongzheng made a decision, he would immediately implement it without delay. In 1723, Yongzheng introduced a very unique measure, the secret succession system. Simply put, no one knew who the heir was before the emperor's death. This practice effectively prevented infighting among the princes for the throne, ensuring a smooth transition of power. The following year, Yongzheng turned his attention to resolving the financial deficit in the national treasury. He began to investigate the financial situation across the country, uncovering a large number of corrupt officials. He took severe measures against them, confiscating their property and prosecuting them. Meanwhile, for local fiscal deficits, Yongzheng ordered that they must be made up within 3 years, or heavier penalties would follow. These measures effectively reformed the country's financial situation. By 1726, Emperor Yongzheng implemented the Gaitu Guilu policy, abolishing the position of Cixi among the ethnic minorities in the southwest and replacing it with officials appointed by the central government. This allowed the central government to directly control these areas, strengthening its rule over the southwest. In 1729, Yongzheng introduced a severe policy of literary inquisition, aiming to suppress outdated ideas in order to strengthen control over society. He believed that only by managing thoughts could his rule be stabilized. At the same time, he set up a military agency called the Grand Council within the military camps, specifically tasked with handling military affairs. All the officials in the Grand Council were personally selected by Yongzheng and were accountable only to the emperor, further consolidating the emperor's control over the military. In addition to political reforms, Yongzheng also placed great importance on economic and agricultural development. He encouraged the people to reclaim land for farming and introduced a series of policies to support agricultural production. From 1721 to 1734, the national arable land increased by 1.55 million hectares. And river dredging work was carried out across various regions. During Yongzheng's 13-year reign, with only a few exceptions, most years saw tax and grain relief for disaster-stricken areas, greatly easing the burden on the people. Yongzheng undoubtedly made great contributions to the nation's prosperity and stability. But he also paid a huge personal price for it. Due to overwork and long periods of high-intensity duties, his health gradually deteriorated. Some historians even speculate that Emperor Yongzheng may have died prematurely from overexertion. A theory that seems plausible. Yongzheng invested almost all of his physical and mental energy into the governance of the country, making him one of the most overworked emperors in Chinese history. Notably, experts discovered a palace archive from the Yongzheng era through archaeology. This archive records the finances of the Imperial household department and details all purchases made from the 8th to the 13th year of Yongzheng's reign. These ledgers show that in the 9th year of his reign, the court purchased more than 400 jin of charcoal and mined silver. And in the following years, large quantities of sulfur, black lead, and other raw materials were bought. Initially, it was believed that these materials were used for heating the palace, as there are public records of charcoal purchases for heating. However, later investigations revealed that these materials were actually used for alchemy. Yongzheng was a follower of Taoism and even adopted the name Yuanming Jushi, the recluse of perfect clarity, before ascending the throne. He maintained close relations with Taoist priests and even compiled the Yuanming Jushi sayings, positioning himself alongside well-known Taoist figures. Although busy with state affairs after taking the throne, he did not fully practice Taoism. But after falling ill in his 7th year of reign, he became obsessed with the search for immortality, particularly through alchemy. The pills Yongzheng made contained highly toxic heavy metals. Although he felt invigorated after taking them, this was actually an early sign of heavy metal poisoning. As he continued to purchase raw materials and consume the pills, the toxins gradually accumulated in his body, ultimately leading to poisoning and death. After Yongzheng's death, Emperor Qianlong immediately sealed off the news and even issued an imperial decree stating that Yongzheng had never consumed the pills, treating them only as curios. This was clearly an attempt to cover up his father's mistake, as alchemy was often seen as an imprudent act for ancient emperors, one that should not be discussed publicly. Looking back in history, many emperors perished due to their obsession with alchemy. As the ancients said, the art of immortality does not exist. What is truly deadly is mankind's insatiable desire, which ultimately leads to self-destruction. This is the History and Culture channel. Liking and subscribing are the greatest help and support to us. Thank you everyone and see you in the next time.